Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Dr. Hyena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be addressing some very frequently asked questions in Mosaic Survival, which is my new animal survival game. It's out on Roblox, it's free. You can go and play it. Link will be in the description. And yeah, hopefully that gives you some context for the questions that I'll be answering today. So, the first thing we've got is, will NPC animals be playable? So, this has been coming up a bit more in light of the new update in which I added the Western Giant Eland as an AI animal. Um, so, the answer is yes. When exactly that'll happen, I'm not sure. Um, but I can tell you how it'll happen. So, basically, there will be a game pass that you can buy where you pay maybe like 100, 200 Robux to play as an NPC animal. And basically, that way, if you want to like follow them on their migration route, blend in with the herd, um, or even just troll your friends and, make them think that they're being beaten by like an AI animal, right? I think that'll be a lot of fun, and yeah, you can totally do that. So, when that's gonna happen, I'm not certain, but that is definitely planned, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. All right, and moving on to the next question: will there be roleplay territories, groups, etc.? Um, so this isn't really a roleplay game. It's more a survival game. Like, you're playing as an animal, to some degree or another, living their life and trying to survive the way that they would in the wild. So it's not really meant to be roleplay in the sense of like, oh, ABC to do this or do that, or oh, like some people they'll do like this kind of third person narration. Like, I'm not saying you can't do that, but expect to essentially get killed by other players if you do, because they're really not gonna care. Um, and as for territories and groups, I think for the time being, at least, it is probably for the best that I avoid adding something that complex, just because of all the little issues that I could foresee coming with it. Um, like, in real life, there is often quite a bit of infighting within groups of animals, whether that be like a lion pride or a hyena clan, or even like with ungulates. There's quite a bit with that too. Elephants as well, even. So, um, the whole purpose that a group system that people are thinking of would be, is to, like, make it so that if you're in the same group, then it's more convenient for hunts, right? You can't attack each other by accident. But the thing is, animals do those things in real life, even if they are part of the same group, accidentally and intentionally. So I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to, have a system preventing those things. That's just gonna rely on your, teamwork and compatibility as players and your cooperations. So yeah, probably not going to happen. But if you wanna, imagine those things yourself, you're totally free to do that. Again, it's not really the point of the game though, so there's not going to be any like particular benefits from it. So yeah, it's all going to be player determined, is what I'm saying. All right, next question. Um, why are elephant and lion unlockable slash game pass animals? So basically, for those who haven't played the game, what you do to play as an elephant or a lion is you go around the map, collecting these badges for certain locations you discover. And then once you have all of them, when you rejoin the game, or like the next time you play, right, you can be an elephant or a lion or any animal you want. Now, the reason that those are, unlockable slash game pass animals is because, you know, I feel like you should have a good idea of how the game mechanics work before playing as those animals. You know, far too often I see games where people just kind of like, jump straight into the most powerful animal in the game or most powerful character, even if it's not an animal, right? And then, oftentimes that does lead them into a lot of issues, because they don't know how to play the game, right? But of course, I wanted to do my part at least in preventing that. Now, obviously, I can't do everything for you. Like, I can't play the game for you. You know what I mean? You do have to have that experience yourself. But I do think it is for the best that for those animals specifically, the really big, powerful ones, you do have to play the game for a bit before, going onto them. Or, the other option is you can, spend some Robux and go right into them. The option is there. So, yeah. All right. Next question. How many playable animals will there be? And is there a public roster? So, yeah, you'll notice there isn't one. There's no like public, planned list like say Wild Savannah has. There's a couple of reasons for that. So, firstly, I do want there to be a good amount of surprise element to this game. As we're going on. I don't want to, say I'm gonna be adding like so and so animals, right? And then something happens, whether it be in real life or online, or I just lose a motivation or something like that, and then I just end up not adding all those animals. So really, it is ultimately best that I avoid, potential disappointment, so to speak. And that is why there's no public roster. Now, as for how many playable animals there will be, probably no more than 16 to maybe 20 if you include Game Pass skins. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Even 16 seems like a lot because when you have that many animals, it is kind of hard to avoid overlapping play styles. Um, in fact, that's kind of why I didn't add the eland as a playable right off the bat, because while it would be different from the buffalo, it's faster, it has more health, um, it has worse stamina, and it can jump higher. There are differences there, but overall, the playstyle would probably feel like relatively similar, or maybe even more than relatively. So I did want to kind of distance myself from that for the time being. Again, it will be added eventually as a playable, but for right now, maybe not the best thing to do. So that is something I do want you guys to consider. I see a lot of suggestions, and some of them I do like because some of you guys actually do quite a bit of research and make sure those animals do live in Neokolokoba National Park before suggesting them, which is great. But right now, I'm not really open to suggestions just because I do have a list planned out for what I want to see in the game. Uh, and yeah, I feel like you guys would enjoy those. So if you can be patient, that'd be fantastic. And yeah, so just kind of play it by ear and see where this goes. All right, and speaking of seeing where this goes, the next question um, actually does have a lot to do with that. So I'm often get asked, what am I talking about? I'm often asked, what is the goal with this game? So I do have a couple of goals in mind. Firstly, I want to represent a part of Africa that's often left out by media. Western Africa as a whole, it's not just left out by mainstream media, it's also not very well documented scientifically. I mean, it is getting better, but due to the civil conflicts going on there, and just how dangerous the region is in general, there isn't a whole lot that's really known about it compared to other places like, say, Kenya or Tanzania or South Africa, which are all, pretty well documented scientifically. Um, and they get a lot of media representation, especially like, the Masai Mara Kruger National Park, right? So I wanted to go off on a little bit of a different route here, and my next goal would be to raise some funds for my other projects. So that includes Eternal Enemies, Into the Jungle, and any other games that I do in the future, which I do have some ideas for. I'm not gonna spoil right now, um, but yeah, obviously those will require some amount of funding, especially if they're to continue on. Um, like I wouldn't want to release just Into the Jungle and then just say like, oh yeah, we're done with it, no more updates, no sequel, no nothing. No, of course I do want probably a few sequel games for Into the Jungle. I feel like the story that I do have planned is definitely something that can be expanded upon, and that's why I actually do want to have sequels. So for that reason, and also the fact that I am still in college, I'm learning to kind of budget and live on my own, and I'll admit it is pretty tough. um, Inflation has definitely had a lot to do with that. Prices, even just for like everyday stuff, are going you know skyrocketing really pretty quickly. um, so ultimately what I'm saying is, in the world that we live in, you do need some funding to survive, essentially. And this is one of my ways of raising some of those funds. So yeah, there are definitely some more questions you guys ask pretty often, but I think I'm going to leave it here for this video. So if you guys have enjoyed, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Definitely stay tuned for more videos like this, and ask any questions you have in the comment section of this video, and I'll be sure to consider them for my next Q&A video. So till then, take care, peace out, and goodbye everybody.